My white sister called me N-word while I was driving her to a concert, so I turned the car around and drove her back home. Now she's drowning in her own entitlement. After I moved away for college, my 17-year-old sister was reveling in being the only child in the house. We generally get along, but she could occasionally be a spoiled brat that whines and cries until she gets what she wants. I am the opposite of her, and have been a doormat most of my life. An important thing to note is that we have different fathers. Both her parents are white, but I'm part black, and with her dad being out of the picture, we live with my white mom and black dad. This is relevant to the story. During the summer of college, I went back home. I was a much better and more responsible driver than my sister, and as a condition for staying at home for the summer rent-free, my parents would ask me to drive my sister to and from places they didn't want her driving. I didn't mind for the most part. Sure, she could occasionally be a real brat and cause trouble when things don't go her way, but we generally get along very well. One night, my sister had gotten tickets to attend a concert with a boy she liked. Since my aunt and uncle were in town, my parents wanted to spend the afternoon having a few glasses of wine out on the patio, so they asked me if I would be okay driving my sister to the concert that evening. I accepted, and we went on our way. All was well until my sister decided I was getting on her nerves, and we got into an argument. It wasn't a big deal until my sister, visibly annoyed, rolled her eyes and said, "You don't have to be such a nigger about it." I saw red. I had been called this word before and have been able to shrug it off, but from my own family, I was not going to take it, especially from a white girl. I could have yelled, argued more, or even stooped to her level, but it suddenly came over me what I was going to do. It was simple. I was not going to drive her to the concert. I told her this, and she smirked to tell me, "Yeah, like mom and dad are going to be okay with that." When we got home, I went to my parents, explained what happened, and let them know I would not be driving her to the concert. To no one's surprise, they took her side and explained to me they understood I was upset, but I would still need to take her to the concert. My sister's smug look was all I needed to stand my ground. "No," was all I said. My parents seemed confused and then explained that that was not an option. I simply said, "You cannot make me. I do not care what you do. I will not drive her." Years of resentment over having to be the good sibling finally spilled out, and I simply said, "No." My parents threatened to ground me, yelled at me, threatened to take my things, got in my face, but I held my ground. I told them I would take any punishment they wanted, but no one could force me to drive her. At one point, I even looked my father in the eye and said, "Tell me it's okay for her to call me a nigger. Tell me it's okay for anyone to do that." My parents had no idea what to do. They were too intoxicated to drive, and it was too late to ask anyone else. My sister refused to apologize, but as we got closer to the time the concert would start, I could tell she was starting to panic. The rage on her face was building up, and it was the sweetest revenge I could ask for. For once, she wasn't going to get her way, and there was nothing she could do about it. Nothing would make me do it. This was the hill I would die on. My sister ended up missing more than half of the show and cried the whole night. It's what she deserved. As for me, my parents never ended up punishing me. Maybe they were too stunned to do anything, or more likely saw that I was right. But from that point on, I had no problem setting boundaries as needed. I could be kind, but I wasn't going to be my family's doormat.